Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy, One Sir Grove. This is episode 65 of Casting 495 Celebrities Worldwide, C4CW. That's right, episode number 65. This is a mobile podcast, and today I'm going to teach y'all how to rap. That's right, I said I'm going to teach y'all how to rap. I'm talking about rhymes, lyrics. Yo, check game, B. So I hope that you are having a pleasant motherfucking day wherever you are in the world, or evening, or midday, somewhere in between, night, day, night, fucking whatever. I hope that, it's working for you, man, and it's working out well. And, yeah, man, thanks for tuning in. If it's your first time or you've tuned in before. So, let's get to it, man. Rapping. What do I know about it? Well, I've been a writer since I was a kid. Now, I won't go into some long anecdote or backstory about how I was a young writer in the Young Writers Workshop. I've already talked about that shit, man. How during elementary school, junior high school, I was part of the Young Writers group, selected, chosen by the school district. So, flash forward. When I was 12 years old, man, I wrote my very first rap. That was when I actually, penned. I was like, man, I'm going to write a rap for the very first time. And, I came from a religious background, man. I was a Baptist Christian, born and raised, and I would go to Sunday school religiously, and I would put money in the offering for the church, and I would recite and memorize Bible verses, and I actually have a Bible that was given to me. It's like a kid's Bible, one that would be expensive if you went and bought it at the Christian bookstore. We got it. For me, it was a big deal, man, when I was a kid, because I had to memorize, I can't remember, man, 30 Bible verses or something like this. It was over time, you do over time, and then ultimately they'd give you this Bible. And it was a big deal, man. I wanted that book, man. And for me, it was amazing because I was fucking 7 years old or 6 years old or some shit. And it was an awesome book, man. It was very colorful, and, it's the story about God and the devil. And so when I was 12 years old, man, coming from a religious background, I wrote this rap called Antichrist, and it was all about the evil Antichrist during the end times, Book of Revelation. And, it was just I was like, man, I'm going to be creative. What should I write about? Fuck it, man. I come from a religious background. Let me write about the devil, Beelzebub, man. Fucking Lucifer and his minions. Yeah, I'm going to write a rap called The Antichrist. I don't even remember what it was about, really, man. That was pretty much it. But I rapped it, and my buddy, my homeboy Scoot, my Jewish homie, from Bloods Gang, Pyru, Douche Tray, he fucking was there with me and shit, and he's like, yo, that's dope. And I was like, word? So he became a member of Criminal Alliance with me, and he was always 495 since day one. 495. And I used to rock stages with Scoot, man. I used to fucking, shout out to Scoot. What up, homie? He's a computer programmer, developer now and shit. He's a real estate agent. And that's my nigga, man. That's my Jewish homie from fucking childhood. We used to be rivals, man. We used to have a little beef in the hood and shit, but then we squashed it and we ended up being fucking ultra tight partners. And he picked it with me, blood, on fucking Douche Tray, man, 23rd Street. And I minimized that because it was us and a few thousand people and shit from our city. But it's my nigga and my G and shit, my Bloods Gang homie. Fucking but yeah, my homie Scoot was with me, and we started rhyming together, man, as part of an organization. And but before we were part of that organization, we had a set. And so we were deep in the streets of our city, and fucking we were connecting with people, older dudes from different neighborhoods. So we rolled out, we were invited, we were busting rhymes one day at a club that we weren't old enough to get into. But, we were gangsters, so we would go down to the club. I mean, if there was a door open and shit in the back and there was no bouncer, we dip into the club. But, we knew, someone might card us or something. We knew not to buy any drinks because we didn't have fake IDs yet. Well, we did, but, you chanced it if you had fake IDs. I got my fake ID in Seattle and shit. And, Beatle. But yeah, man. So fucking that was a long time ago, 25 plus years ago, statute of limitations. Like, I don't have any fake IDs now that I know of. And if I were on a mission sanctioned by the US government and did, I mean, I'd never talk about it, but you know, that's just a movie. So defense contractor here and shit. But yeah, nah, man, so back in the day, like, there was this club, right? And it was on Broadway and shit. Not in Beattle, okay? Not in Beattle like the Mix-a-Lot joint, okay? Not in Beattle, homie. But another city, man, in the PNW, which is the Pacific Northwest and U.S. West Coast. And so we were in the fucking Puget Sound, man. We were in the EVT. And there was this club, man. It was called Buzzies. And fucking Buzzies was like the spot where niggas would, like, who were older than us, that were from other sets that we looked up to, that we ultimately connected with. They were already old enough to go in by like a year, and we had like a year to wait. And we would go out with them dudes later, our allies and what have you, some years down the road. You know, and there were times when we did use fake ID, but man, it's hard to get into Buzzies, man, with the fake ID. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe not, but we didn't want to chance it, man, because we weren't 21 yet, and we didn't want to fucking root, because that's like $5,000 fine and shit. But Buzzies was the spot where they had DJs, they had MCs, they played 80s music, they played fucking 90s music. I mean, shit, I'm from the 70s and 80s, so you still had niggas with the Aquanet hairspray. I mean, shit, dog, I never fuck with the Jerry curl, but I did have my shit braided up like Menace to Society and shit, you know what I'm saying, with the green fucking bands, you know, for money and shit, plus, you know, Pyru nigga bloods. Some of us fly green and shit seasonally, you know, traditionally. We don't just rock red, we don't just rock Pyru, you know, burgundy. Nigga, sometimes we rock brown, you know, so for real though. Sometimes nigga maybe a little orange and shit. And but nigga, money green too, forest green, and that's real talk. So, and especially in the Evergreen State, you know, Evergreen State, you know, holla, it's your boy, New York, Oncer Grove, ha. Yeah, so the 151 Riverside District boys, we would go, my nigga Scoot, because we're all Riversiders, Spank T, Zone, Loot Money. We'd go down to Buzzies and shit. Well, one night, we were down at Buzzies, and this is when gang shit started just really fucking popping off heavy on the West Coast. Like, nigga armed up shit, like fucking Uzis. I'm talking like sidearms, drive-bys. I mean, shit, man. Look up what happened when Ice Cube came to the concert in Seattle. Man, there was a limo that flipped upside down. Niggas, someone sprayed with an actual, like, Uzi carbine. I mean, niggas had Mac 11, Mac 10s, fucking Tech 9. In fact, the very first time I ever physically held a Mac 10, like a legit fucking, like, weighty, like, yo, nigga, this shit is chunky. First time I ever fucking held the Mac 10. Was in Seattle in the Central District. The CD, Charlie Delta, in other words, the Central District of Seattle. When we got down with niggas in Beattle, we was cool with some Bloods niggas and some folk niggas up in the CD. Like, that was when we started to expand out from the EVT, we were actually invited into the Central District with these older niggas that were up on like real estate shit, fucking properties, like owning gas stations and fucking delis, nigga, the car wash. These niggas had limos and shit. All these niggas were armed up. I said armed up. All these niggas were armed up, homie. Fucking straight armed to the teeth and shit. Plus, there was this thing that happened one night in the CD. I won't go into details or particulars, and I don't know shit anyway. But there was this notorious shit that went down where there's one nigga, this Bloods, homie. So look, these niggas used to come in from Hilltop Crips, right? HTC, Hilltop Crips in Tacoma, Washington. And niggas, it don't matter what set you be from. You could be Bloods, you could be Crips, you could be GDs, folks. You could be Vice Lords, nigga. You could be fucking Sureños, Norteños. You could be the Sutreses, the fucking Nortes. You could be the Brown Priders, the Drifters. Nigga, it didn't matter. All the thousands of gangs, dog. Every motherfucker back in the day, including local law enforcement, state, and federal. Nigga, I'm not trying to glorify anything, but you could be a Bloods gang and you could set trip and talk all the shit you wanted. Dog, I'm telling you though, niggas on some level had to revere Hilltop, Tacoma Hilltop niggas from the Hilltop, because Hilltop was some ill-top shit though. That was some fucking ganged out shit. Niggas came up from California, you feel me, B? Niggas came up from Biller Valley and shit. And on the one, nigga, Blood's Kingdom and shit, these niggas, you know, they came up and these sea riders and shit, they posted up in the Hilltop of Tacoma, Washington. That shit was so ganged out that at some point, don't take my word for it, look it up in the history books. Be like, man, Once Grove is spitting some history game about this shit, and I don't know if it's true. This nigga just might be trying to embellish some shit. Look, I'm telling you straight up, I read the federal record of it. The federal government of the United States came in and they seized, like, the township, the jurisdiction of, like, Hilltop. And they're like, this is no longer a city ownership situation. We, the United States government, have reclaimed this shit and we own it and it is our jurisdiction. It became federal jurisdiction and they brought in DEA, they brought in FBI. Nigga, I'm talking like not just mobile, but I'm talking posted, like camps, like encampments, bruh. Like they had to crack, nigga, they bracked down on them Hilltop niggas. But look, Hilltop is a legacy, and I'm not trying to glorify gang shit. You feel me, Bloods, gang, nigga? You know, I fucks with Bloods and Crips, bro. And folks, nigga, in all kinds of different sets, man, because I be on some alliance shit. For real, I be on some alliance shit, homie. In fact, I'm part of fucking Criminal Alliance. Now, you probably like Criminal Alliance, that's some criminal shit. Nah, we called it criminal because when we were kids in our neighborhoods, respectively, in our different neighborhoods on the coast, the police, before we were ever gang involved, they're the ones that were the gang, man, and they were beating us the fuck down on a daily basis just because we played sports and we wore sports attire. They called us criminals before we ever got off in gang shit, man. Before we ever got off in gang shit, when we had enough, when we knew, we were smart kids, man. We knew that America was letting drugs in on our streets. And we knew that neighborhoods were being overrun and overtaken by gangs and drugs and cartels and shit. And we knew not every police officer, not every officer friendly was a bad officer friendly. We knew that shit too. But hey, listen, McGruff, the crime dog ass niggas and shit, man, we knew these motherfuckers were doing ill shit, and the way that they were beating us like it was Nazi Germany, America, the way they were trying to put the Stasi Gestapo moves on the streets, and they were trying to erect that system. I mean, look, man, my grandfather is a white Caucasian Englishman. I'm talking English heritage. I'm talking British, okay? And my grandmother, she's German, okay? German, American. Immigrant status. Her father was like pure blood fucking German, pure blooded German from Germany. Like I could get German citizenship because I'm hellified fucking German. I'm very much German. I went to German language camp when I was a kid. My family, we had other families that we would picnic with and go to Oktoberfest and Maypole Fest and shit and fucking Bavarian shit, bruh, that were German from Germany and they spoke German. My aunt, she almost married a dude from Germany because my family's German and English. We're English and German. We're very much European American, man. And it ain't by so many generations. Like I said, I'm talking German American immigrants. And my grandmother, she lived in a small fucking town that was so small, it was like a quarter the size of a football field, and the shit doesn't exist anymore. They like bulldozed it and they built another town on top of it, but it's still in the mountains. But it's still a place in the fucking mountains. My family owns that shit, and it's on a mountaintop type shit. And that's real shit. When they came to the United States, my grandfather had some roots in Missouri. And, you know what I'm saying? He fought Nazis and fascists in Germany. and he was in Germany and France during World War II. Purple Heart awardee. He received the Purple Heart, and he lost a leg, man. So my point is this. Yeah, I know about fucking fascism, and when some of the police in America and J. Edgar Hoover and these motherfuckers, when these J. Edgar Hoover establishment motherfuckers, when they started to do these moves, these dirty moves in America before I was even born, you want to talk about Bloods? Let's talk about Bloods. Let's talk about Crips. Let's talk about how it started. My father was in Vietnam War, right? And when he was in Vietnam War, he was sprayed with Agent Orange chemical, right? He got the chemical spray from the deforestation chemical that the U.S. Gov was using at the time that it said was safe, and it said it didn't use it, and it said, okay, well, we used it, but it's safe. And then they're like, well, but the thing is, and people were like, yeah, but the thing is, it's like toxic. So my dad was fucked up, man, for a long time because of being sprayed and exposed with the orange, right? The Agent Orange. A lot of people try to sue, to get their medical bills paid, just their medical bills paid, man, because the government hit them with the toxic weapon and shit, right? And then wanted to play it off for generations like it never happened. And these people, man, these veterans, all they wanted was just, their hospital bills paid, man. And the gov's like, nah, we didn't do it. Like, nah, we're not responsible. Like, whatever's happening, it's mysterious, and we're not behind it. Well, we all know, man, that Agent Orange was the government that did the shit, right? So, point is, my father, he taught race relations at a time of heightened racial tension in the U.S. With his background, his degree in theological studies, and he also has a degree in sociology. And, he's been to universities, man, Chicago and shit, and different parts of the country because he's originally from the deep, deep South. So being a dark-skinned brother with some Native American in him from the deep, dark South, he became highly educated back in the 1960s, and he was a teacher in the military. So he taught classes. Not only was he a martial artist, but he also taught race relations. The government asked him at the time, since he was degreed and had this background in sociology and theological studies with all of his different licenses and whatnot, they asked him to teach while he was in the military. So he was an instructor. My mother was actually in his class. My mother was a very white Caucasian woman in his very black Afro-Asiatic class. And they called it Jungle Fever and shit. They hooked up, like the movie Shack and shit or whatever. The black exploitation films. So they hooked up, right? My mother was highly educated as well. She studied microbiology and whatnot, business administration, lots of different things, cryptology codes. And she was in the military intelligence for, most of her career, 20 plus years in the U.S. Navy, and worked out of embassies. I've talked about this before, but check game. Back during Vietnam War era, you'd have motherfuckers that were sideways in your unit in the military, and they might just lob a grenade at you. Someone in your unit and shit that's just haywire, and they'd be like, hey man, fuck everyone, we all going down. Pull the pin on the grenade and toss it at you and shit. You'd be like, oh really, motherfucker? Come on, dog. You might pick it up and toss it back at the nigga like the cartoon. But the thing, man, they'd frag motherfuckers, right? Sometimes there'd be like a unit sergeant, commander, just someone that was just fucking way AWOL, just whacked out, man. And they'd be like, man, we gotta frag this motherfucking shit. Well, you had black African-American dudes in the war, servicemen, armed forces cats that were in the Vietnam War. Soldiers, okay? Commandos. And they would band together because there was racism, man, in the military. Come on, man, it was the 1960s and shit, going into the 70s. And they band together, and they called each other Bloods. It was like blood, blood, brother, right? So blood, some gang historians have said that that's where Bloods is derived from. That's the etymology on that. That's where it's derived from, was that these cats were in war and they had to band together, man, for survival. Well, so check game. Black Panthers, right? Black Panthers morphed into these splinter organizations, if you will. And when the Panthers, at their height and during a certain time, they became socialists, man. And some have even argued communist. They had socialist communist leanings. Now, some people, man, are like, well, growth, in the context of geopolitics and history, and so forth, you do understand that there's a difference between socialism and communism. And I'm like, well, that's your story. That's your theory. Okay, that's your doctrine. But I've also heard from PhDs and professors that, what's the motherfucking difference, man? What's the difference? It's all tyranny, right? They're both extreme. You could argue that they are different forms of government, society, organizational structures. On one hand, yeah, they could be, but the lines can also blur. You could have a bunch of motherfucking socialists that at some point become so extreme in their socialism that they become fucking communists. They're fucking commies, man. They become communists at some point. So socialism can lead to communism. Anything can lead to communism. Anything can lead to fascism. You could start off, man, and you could be liberal democratic. You're calling yourself democratic. And then all of a sudden, it's not so much of a democracy because your fucking style, your twist, right? Your spin on it, right? With your drive-by media shit, you statist motherfuckers. You put a little spin on it, right? And now your brand, your definition of what it means to be a liberal democrat, to be a democrat, right? A democrat, it means that everybody has to think like you. And if everybody doesn't think like you according to your system, then they're not truly liberal Democrats, right? Oh, how could you possibly be a liberal Democrat and agree with anything that Donald Trump says? If you, in my view, if you agree with any fucking sentence, any statement, any remark that Donald J. Trump ever fucking utters out of his human mouth, if you agree with him one time on planet Earth, man, you're not truly at its root and its core. You're truly not a real, genuine liberal Democrat by dictionary encyclopedic definition. Yeah, there are people who think like that. So then it's no longer liberal democratic. Now we've moved over into fucking Marxist, communist, fascist. Everybody has to think the same way. Okay? That's the beehive mind shit, man. That's the fucking Nazi shit. That's the master race type shit, man. That's that Mein Kampf type shit. Okay? We know what the fuck that is. So, that's what happened, man, with Black Panthers. And then, on some level, some of them had those socialist, communist leanings. If you don't believe anything I say, man, look it up, man. Cross-reference the shit, investigate it, do the data correlation, the link analyses, man, connect the dots, man. Don't ever take my word for any of this shit, man. Because, what the fuck do I know, man? I'm just a Grover. I don't know shit. So, but anyway, man, so when you find out that what I told you is 100% accurate, and you're like, damn, I didn't know that the Black Panthers were, some of them, he was careful to say some, he didn't say all, right? Some of them had adopted these communist leanings. And I know because I was enrolled in Black Studies, and I studied African American history and African diaspora and multicultural studies. Man, I've studied fucking so much shit, man. When I was a kid, I was a nerd, and I read all the encyclopedias that my family had on the shelves because we didn't have the internet, and I like to read books. So I was like, I'm going to read every encyclopedia because I don't have anything else to do. I'm bored. So I did, and then I liked them so much I read them again. That's how fucking boring it was, the little town that I came from, dude. And I come from a little town, dude, less than 100,000 fucking people. Think about that. I'm a little half black, as you say on your planet, because people are black and white, right? Like, so, because, there is no color black and there is no real color white. But, that's what your medieval society says. So, I'm a half white, half black kid. Half black, half white kid. Whatever the fuck that means. But yeah, so, you know, growing up in my little town, my little community, my little township, pilgrims and natives, Christopher Columbus is a fucking hero. Fucking piece of shit. Man, we need to get rid of Christopher fucking Columbus Day, man. Dumb mumblest fucking day. That dude was a wretched scab. That dude was the lowest of fucking life forms on the planet, man. That dude was a phagocyte, man. That dude was bacteria. Fucking for real. Like, straight up. Like when aliens observe, they're not like, oh, humanoid of stature and uprightness. No, dude, they just, like, when they, through their lenses of, like, scanners and sensors, he's like a shit ball of bacteria. That dude was a low chakra, like, knuckle dragon piece of fucking trash. And then there are those in America who, oh, Christopher Columbus, he was so knightly. Yeah, he wasn't knightly, dude. He was a colonialist, imperialist who thought that he was in motherfucking India, and he called the Native Americans, Indians and Injuns. Because he was a fucking reject. He was a derelict fucking monkey primate. Yeah. Who was on a mission for, I don't know, man, himself and the people who financed his voyage to the New World to enslave natives. Yeah. What a fucking holiday, dude, and what a fucking goddamn hero. Yeah. So anyway, back to what I was talking about, which is exactly what I just was talking about. So I've researched these things thoroughly, man, and I've read all of these stories, and I've read all of these histories and all of this history, and I know that what I'm saying to you is 100% accurate and 100% true. So the Crips, when the Crips emerged, everyone at the time, man, in those neighborhoods, they were all Crip. Mostly. There weren't Bloods. It was just everybody was a Crip. Like, it was all Crippin'. It was Crip crazy. It was the phenomenon of Crippin' crazy Crippin'. Everyone's a Crip. Crip, cuz, Crip, cuz. Right? Nigga Crip, nigga cuz, nigga Crip, nigga cuz is how motherfuckers used to talk. Everything out of their mouths before when they talk, they'd be like, Crip, nigga, let's go to the store, Crip. You know? Get some drink, Crip. Nigga cuz. Cuz, hey, yo, cuz, hey, cuz, hey, yo, cuz. Cuz I grew up around niggas who be Crip, okay? Nigga, they see Crippin', nigga, all day. They be cousin, nigga, all day long. They'll cousin nigga up. Like, cuz, hey, cuz. They talk like this. Hey, yo, cuz. Yo, hey, yo, cuddy. Hey, cuddy, cuz, nigga, cuz. It's like, how many times can a nigga say cuz in a sentence or within a day's time or in a video, right? But look, man, I'm gonna be fair and honest, man. Bloods do that shit too. I know Bloods niggas, and I bloods it up, nigga, and fucking in the rhymes and shit. You know, blood, cause for real, B, you feel that? Blood, hey, blood, hey, bloods, hey, B, hey, gang, nigga, blood, hey, Pyru, nigga, bloods, right? So anyway, that's the culture though, you know? And that's what it used to be like, and that's how it still be like, and for some niggas, that's how it see like. You feel that? That's how it see like for some niggas. I'll be fucking with my Crip homies though, because man, you know, we got respect though. The niggas, Crip niggas I know, man, and who I roll with and shit, man, we grew up together, so we understand the lingo, we understand the famo, we understand the fuck gang, life and the culture, and we know what it be about, man, and what it, you know, and as they say, what it see about. So it's alliance, nigga. We be alliance, man, mixed minorities. So that was how Crips were established. And with the, you know, and you have people who will say it stood for, you know, community revolution in progress. And there's other theories and different stories, you know, Raymond Washington and all these different guys, right? Okay. All right. Tukey, Jamel, got it. So at some point, the Crips, some of them were like, yo, man, why everyone crypto? Shit, nigga, we something new now. Well, nigga, what is we now? Nigga, I guess we's a non-Crip, right? So they had to have something that was different because everybody was becoming fucking the one thing. So in the universe of it all, they had to switch it up. It was just inevitable. And so they were like, we're non-Crip. What exactly does that mean? See, they're blue. We're not blue anymore. colors contrast. Fuck it, we're red now. We're, look at this Bloods. Because Bloods had already been around, though. You see, the idea, the concept, Bloods, it had been around since the 1960s, 70s. It had been around since Vietnam War. So these different ideas and concepts were integrated and incorporated into the Crips and the Bloods, right? And having originally formed, you know, in relation to this kind of splintering process with the with the disbanding on some level, because you still have Black Panthers, but with the Black Panthers, with the decline of the Black Panthers, you then had this emergence of Crips and Bloods, Bloods and Crips. So that's where that came from. Now, Crips outnumbered the Bloods by, I think it was 6-1. Was it fucking 6-1? Don't quote me on that ratio. That ratio may not be accurate. That ratio may not be mathematically accurate. Admittedly so. But it was something like that. The number was close to something like that. And I think mathematicians and statisticians and actuarial scientists would say, Grover is actually correct. Though he may not be 100% correct, he's close enough. Yeah, it's something like 6-1. And, or maybe it's not, you know. I stand corrected if someone corrects me. There in the intellectual discourse of it all. You know, listen, I take constructive criticism and I'm all about critiques, man. So, but, keep in mind. So, alas, what then happened was, because Crips outnumbered Bloods by such a number, that's why Bloods had to be blitzkrieg in terms of operational methodologies and techniques, operational practices. In op mode, they had to be fucking lethal and ultra dangerous in order to survive against the sheer number of Crips. So at some point, Bloods became one of America's most dangerous street gangs, because niggas had to run blitzkrieg missions, you know, because it was fucking, you know, for the Bloods, they had, for every Bloods gang, nigga, there were 6 Crips. So Bloods had to go all out, man, machine guns and shit, nigga, Uzis from Israel, you know? And that's real talk, that's real shit, that's real history. And Crips knew that. Crip gang leaders knew that. And other gangs knew that. So that's how Bloods within the world of gangs earned respect, was by being blitzkrieg and going up against the odds in such a way to keep the shit, you know, even on some level of gameplay in the real world matrix of it all. And so that's how all of that shit started, man. And that's the history. That's the legit fucking history. And yeah, a lot of people don't understand that, and they don't know that, and they don't know how and why these gangs, they gangbang, or what their purpose is, or where they come from. I mean, look, man, people were destitute. They lived in poverty-stricken communities, and though it's no excuse to do the shit, you know, that niggas was doing, like selling kilos of cocaine and, you know, weapons trafficking and all manner of illicit business in the index of, you know, crimes from A to Z. Niggas did it though. Niggas did it though, man, because they did it as a matter of survival. So the rap game. Yeah, man, we were fucking rapping a long time ago. And what I was talking about was Buzzies on Broadway, and how when we were younger, man, we were fucking standing on the corner and we were rapping on the corner, and these older dudes, they approached us and they were like, yo, man, and we're like, oh, hey, what up? And they're like, no, man, chill, man, like, we ain't here on no beef shit. because they kind of crept, right? And we saw them and shit. And they're like, y'all was just rapping. And because we were rapping. We had our cipher going and shit. And they was like, no, we ain't trying to interrupt, man. Just go ahead and continue. We're like, huh? They're like, no, we want to hear y'all rap. And these were older dudes and shit. They like literally came out of the club, saw us rapping on a street corner, like right there at the club. And they, instead of going over to their vehicles and shit and just like leaving with the like fine ladies and shit. I mean, cause we're like, we're like goo goo gaga. Like, oh my God, like look at those, big boobies on that chick. And you know what I mean? We're fucking kids, man. Like shit. But actually, man, back then I think we were, I was like 19 years old or something like that. And, but we're drinking 40s and everything, right? Armed up with the straps, sidearms, fucking fully loaded, every kind of gun, man, on the streets at the time, the 9 millis, the 4.5s, the 380s, the 25s, deuces, AKs, Desert Eagles. I mean, that later emerged and shit with the Gulf, all that shit, man. M4, fucking AR and shit, 15. And so we're posted up on the street corner, and they was like, no, man, just keep rapping. And we're like, damn, they got an entourage. These niggas want us to rap and shit. So he was like, nigga, this is EVT. Put it down for the 151 and 495. And they was just like, what? Yeah, nigga, we hoot ride. Nigga, best, you take a drive down the street with us if you want to come a bust. Nigga, out the sunroof, on some lion shit, nigga, with the sniper on the rooftop. Nigga, hilltop, Crips, be doing their thing, but we do our own thing up in the EVT. It's OHGOE, and I put it down, man, and we get money. My nigga Lou Money. My nigga Zone, ZONE. The nigga Mac Tension. Yeah. My nigga SKOOT, G. Pyro Bloods Gang, B. For real. A lion shit. Bloods of Crips. Get in the mix. Doing tricks. Nigga hat tricks. Fiddle sticks. Just some off the top of the dome shit, though. Right? Just some shit. And that's how we were rhyming. And they were like, yo, y'all want to come down to the studio and get recorded by our studio, man? We got gold albums and shit. We put out, y'all heard of these niggas. We're like, yeah, they're major industry K, man. They come through the studio. So anyway, we went down to fucking, we took our fucking posse down to the Central District. And we used to record with these cats from this organization called Dark Set. Dark Set was like our organization up in the EVT. It was like Criminal Alliance. It was an organization comprised of dudes from like different gang sets and shit. Dark Set had their own albums out as well. And their studio was fucking dope. And the dude who recorded the shit, Robert Redwine, he was a brilliant musician, man. He played the keys, the piano and shit. He fucking had the professional gear and shit, man. He fucked with the major artists in the industry. And we could explain how we wanted the sounds to manifest, right? Like how we wanted them to come to fruition and materialize. Like how we wanted the musical composition to sound like, right? And some of us, man, like in the church and school and like band and shit. My nigga Scoot was in the band. I try to talk him out of it. I don't know why now, man. It was fucking stupid. But I was like, nigga, you gonna be in the band, but he learned how to play instruments and shit, right? And we had backgrounds in music, and we had been recording our own music, man, with like synthesizers and drum machines and rhythm composers, and we had our own small studios and shit already. But these cats had the industry professional gear, like actual like sound booth and shit like that. So these niggas was like, we could explain to Robert Redwine how we wanted the shit to sound. And he was the first cat we ever met, first of all, that we had been invited to a professional studio like that. And then on top of it, for him to be able to understand how we described the sounds, he made it exactly the way that it sounded in our minds. I'm talking musical genius shit. Like he could translate what we were explaining to him into actual sound. We're like, all right, so here's the whistle, and it should go like this, and he'd be like, you mean like this? We'd be like, like do 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 do, and he'd be like, play that shit perfectly on the fucking keyboard, like memory shit. Like the nigga had an eidetic musical memory, and it was like he just knew and he understood, and he man, it was almost like he was telepathic. The shit was fucking brazy. And we made the raddest shit, man. We made the rap called Double Helix. They're out there on cassette somewhere, in storage somewhere, man. There's a track I did with Scoot, and it's called Double Helix. We did another track called When the Door Closes. Because when we were in the studio, man, this motherfucker one time, man, we were in 12-3 division. 12-3 is another set that fell up under, that came up under Criminal Alliance. That's an LC, Lethal Crew, and they're Crips. So we were in LC domain. They had a studio that we used to record at. And Loot Money would be there, fucking Zone, Mac Tension, this Crip nigga from California named Cholo. And anyway, man, fucking all these Crip niggas and shit. And we were Bloods niggas up in the studio recording and shit, right? So this one motherfucker, he was, I don't think he was GD. I think this nigga was Crip too. Cause there were some GD niggas, some folk niggas that were out, that were out the door of this apartment. They lived in the same, did they live in the same or did they, nah, they lived like next door. And this was a hood shit, nigga, where there would be fucking niggas with 40s out on the block, and there was a bus transit shit across the street. And this is like the number one, like this sector, this block. It was like the hottest. Well, it's a long stretch, so it's like literally, it's actually 2 blocks. The block we were on, if you cross the intersection, there's another block, and that's the major bus stop shit, like the bus transit system. So we lived in these, well, I didn't live there, but the homie Zone and Mac Tension, they lived there, and we would record with them at the time because the studio moved around. At one point, I had the studio. At one point, we all had studios. Scoot had the studio. Arnie had the studio. That's the nigga Arn Dog. Shout out to Arnie. What up, Arn Dog? Yeah, that's my nigga. We used to roll with Big D and shit. My nigga who's out in ATL right now, and he be in Texas. By the way, shout out to Mike Choi and ATL. He and Big D both be out there and shit. But anyway, we fucking we're in the studio, and this nigga, he was this little short dude, and you know what I'm saying, I'm not gonna say his name, but you know, he faulty anyway now. You know, now nigga, that we found out about this nigga and his and how foul this nigga be on, and it ain't even on some gang shit. This nigga did some foul shit that you just don't do in the game and shit, nigga. We found out about it. And nigga fucking with 12-year-old girls and shit. Okay? Nigga got caught up too. Nigga did time over that shit too. Nigga fucking he and his brother and shit. And I ain't gonna say their names, but niggas who know who I'm talking about, yeah. And that cat was out on the block trying to be a big gangster and shit. Nigga fucking staying at the little spot, little dope spot, little crack house and shit. And little kids were there and shit. And this motherfucker, you know, giving kids fuck crack and shit and marijuana and pills and shit, you know, fucking statutory rape, minor rape shit, fucking sex offender shit. Yeah. Nigga, we know who them motherfuckers are, and they did time for it too, and they got sex offender posters and everything in town. But back in the day, the brothers, man, they used to be up in the and by the way, that wasn't the spot we were at. That's the spot that they were at across town. They were at another spot, and they got caught up on some foul shit, some shit you just don't ever do in the game. Nigga, they crossed over to the dark side, some fucking Hellraiser type shit. Fuck them niggas. But them 2 dudes, one of them dudes, before we knew that he was a fucking rapo, offender, molester, the nigga used to come and open the door, and he kept throwing up Crip. He kept throwing up Crip like we like, nigga, close the motherfucking door. He'd be like, what up, cuz? What up, cuz? And he did this little tiny C, like a little Pac-Man symbol with his like thumb and his forefinger and shit. It was like, this nigga tripping. And he'd be like, you like close the door, and then you open it up, and he'd be like, cuz, what up, cuz? And we're like, nigga, close the motherfucking goddamn door. We're trying to record and shit. And at the time, you gotta understand, we didn't know that this nigga was a weirdo, fucking pedophile, rapo, fucking sex offender, piece of shit, low life, less than human motherfucking shit, right? But he kept opening the door over and over again, and all these niggas, I'm talking his Crip niggas, because they didn't know he was a fucking rapo, you know? And he was just a nigga in the hood that was drinking 40, selling dope with everybody else, pulling licks and shit. But and he was a little tiny dude too, little short motherfucking shit. But he threw up this little super Crip shit. He was like, nigga, this super crip, nigga. And we was like, what the fuck is that? I'm talking like when you put your thumb in your forefinger together. This nigga did that shit with his little thumb. And I'm telling you, like, he closed the door. Like, you'd be like, all right, nigga, close the door. Make sure the shit locked. And then all of a sudden, it would open it again. And he got his 40 in his hand. And he got his hat cocked to the side. He'd be like, nigga, what? And we was like, nigga, close the goddamn fucking door, fool. And then, you know, niggas is cracking up. Because they're like, this motherfucker. He probably opened that door like 25 times in a row. Okay? He knew we were trying to record and shit. And he would throw up a C, like, from behind the door. Like, nigga, crip, nigga, cut, nigga, super crip, nigga. And we were just like, niggas falling out like, man, this motherfucker. So then Scoot and I, man, we came up with this idea. We came up with this idea because this motherfucking bitch nigga wouldn't close his door in the studio, right? We came up with this idea when we were in the Central District of Seattle. And we're like, man, what's a good title? Man, remember when that motherfucker was doing that shit? Oh, yeah, man, with the door in the studio. Oh, all right, man, check this out. Now that we can record this shit, man, on the professional shit, now we in the fucking major, paid for, like, top level fucking sound lab and shit, nigga. Seattle, nigga. Beattle, nigga. Beattle Central District, Bloods. Yeah, when the door closes, homie. So that was the fucking name. And it was just about success, man, and being successful. Because the faulty nigga, you know, we got the fucking studio doors closed, man. We fucking rhyming and we on the mic and we getting riches. We making money. Bloods gang, nigga. And so, yeah, it was when the door closes, double helix. And, man, we put them raps out. We did the song with Sendo. And man, Sendo and Scoot got down. They had the best verses on that track. And Sendo said, the uncontrollable urge to merge is upon me. And I was like, man, niggas was just like, what? Stop that shit. Play that shit again. And he was like, the uncontrollable urge to merge is upon me. And I won't go into the context of that rap because in this day and age, that shit would be considered politically inappropriate. And I'm talking about on weapons violations level shit, man. Like niggas armed up like around like, I mean, I just won't even say it, man. That song was fucking... If y'all know who Gangsta Nip is, that rhyme was on some Gangsta Nip, like, Esham type shit, man. Like, it was just fucking dark. Because we used to be on some dark shit like that, too, man. We used to rhyme like that. And, I mean, I'd honestly have to say that shit in this day and age would be a politically unacceptable rap song. And though I'm all for free speech and freedom of expression... yeah, man, that song just wasn't right. But the way that Sen spit it and Scoot spit it, Scoot was talking about rolling down I-5, Interstate 5 and shit, and nigga Uzi's out there, man. I mean, it was fucking ultra dark. And but you know, in the context of then, niggas was just like, ooh, that shit is just what? Oh, what? Man, this shit is tight. And that was the beginnings of 495, man. And we had airbrush t-shirts, and we used to rock at the Langston Hughes Community Center. We used to throw house parties. We'd have Cholo go and get the kegs and shit of the drink. I'm talking kegs, like kegs of drink. We'd be like, yo, Cholo, we're out of drink. And he'd go, man. He'd go with one of the homies and shit. They'd come back with like 2-3 kegs. They'd have the keg taps and shit. Man, we'd be getting money at the dough and shit, man, and fucking... That was some of the best shit of all time on the West Coast, though. I'm talking, we were throwing professional house parties. And it started out, man, like, motherfuckers was like, man, these guys got something going on. Let's see, man, you know, where this go, man. More and more people started to come. Then we started to do fucking concerts and shit. Motherfuckers was like, yo, man, could you do a club night for us? Like, we're going to give y'all a club night. Like, every week, you got a night where you could do whatever you want, man. You could bring other artists and shit. Then we had 5 club nights going. Then we had people asking us to do concerts in fucking Seattle at the Seattle Center and shit. You know what I'm saying? And then it was traveling out of state, man, and making connections with niggas in different states and out of country and shit. I had people come from, man, I paid artists to come from out of country to do concerts, like 2 nights out type shit, where it's like, artists from all around for 2 nights out at all the different, you know, participating clubs and lounges and bars and establishments, man, restaurants. Man, I had artists from out of country, man, paid they were tripping like, man, I talked to you on the internet and like you actually like, oh my God, this is a dream come true. You like paid for my room and board and like my food and my drinks and my hotel room and I'm doing a video and I'm recording shit like in America. Yeah, man, working with shit like that, man, you know. Concert management, concert production, booking, stage, lighting, man, you name it, man. The full gamut, the whole fucking 9 yards. So when it comes to the rap shit, man, I told y'all that I was gonna teach you how to rap. And you're probably like, man, you tripping, man. You gonna teach us how to rap. Nigga, do you really rap? Yeah, man. I've been rapping for a long time. And you know, my style is an unpredictable style. You know, like some niggas, they have like one set style and you know how they're gonna rap when they get on the microphone mostly, right? Some niggas always double up. Some niggas always mumble rap. Some niggas always do the old school style of rap. And you just know how a nigga's gonna rap. I do some different shit like all the time. Now, you hear that, you know, some rappers, they got many different styles, right? And they be incorporating like other rapper styles and shit like that. That's cool. That's how they do it. So I used to be actually very shy, man. I was a shy kid when I was younger. I was very shy. And when I started writing rhymes, though I had some basic knowledge of metronome and 4/4 count and sheet music and musical composition, I had some very, very, very rudimentary, very basic knowledge of music from formal studies. When it came to the rap thing, man, when I started rapping, the dudes that I was rapping with, a lot of them were like ahead of the curve already. Like Loot Money, I mean, you know, he was older, granted. He was already ahead of the curve. Like he was considered at the time one of the top rappers. Rosendo came along, one of the top rappers. Scoot, dope rapper. And you know, I'd go into the studio and I was writing all these like I had advanced vocabulary shit. That was my whole style back in the day. And I was doing stuff that had never been done before on the level that I was doing. Now there's always been advanced vocabulary rappers. And like if you go back and you peep the old Incredible Letterman, I believe was that K Solo, the Incredible Letterman, what's he? Yeah, the K Solo, KSOLO. That shit was dope. And then there was King Sun. There was a rapper, I believe his name was King Sun. Go back and listen, look up, Google King Sun, like the sun in the sky. I think that's how it was spelled. King Sun. That nigga was dope. Like he had some shit where he spits the entire alphabet in like 4 seconds. He was like, that was the entire alphabet in 4 seconds. Go ahead, rewind and listen to it. Or some shit like that. Or check it or something like that. I mean, it was something like that, man. It was something like that. I just got fucking goosebumps, man, and my hair fucking, you know, rose on my arms and shit. Because, man, that gave me the fucking willies, man. That was because back in the day when I heard that shit on TV, man, I was like 9 years old watching Yo MTV Raps. And you had these gifted fucking rhyme artists, man, that were doing this ultra powerful shit that was ahead of the curve. So when I started, you know, like I said, when I wrote the first rap, Antichrist, with Scoot and shit in the room and busted it to him. Later down the road, I just kind of took with that and started like, I'm like, all right, I want to write these like academic, intellectual rhymes, right? Like it's going to be some street shit mixed with some intellectual shit, like Nas put it down, right? Then at some point I fused the high tech, you know, on the Metal Gear Solid kind of level. So I took the gang shit, fused it with the high tech espionage shit, fused it with the intellectual encyclopedic dictionary type shit, and I just kind of intertwine and interweave and mix those different styles and blend them up, man. Kind of a little mishmash. That's been my motif. That's been my thematic the whole time. Sometimes, man, I just go AWOL on the shit, and I just be busting rhymes. Like when I'm faded, when I'm drunk and shit, I be saying shit that I know isn't gonna rhyme, just to have niggas thinking, why would he say that? That didn't even rhyme. You know, and I'm all obviously being fucking belligerent and obnoxious, man. Just as a style. Like, I'm just freestyling. Sometimes I'll write a rhyme, and then I'll just be like, you know what, man? I'm faded, man. Like, I'm loaded, dog. I don't even feel like writing the rest of this shit. I'll write 16 bars, and then I'll freestyle the rest of it. Or what I'll do, or the other 2 verses. I'll do like 3 verses. Sometimes I'll just be like, fuck it, I'm just going to do 2 verses. Sometimes I'll just do 1 verse. Or sometimes I'll start off where I'll freestyle the first part of it, like the first 16 or however many bars, because it doesn't really matter to me. Like, I'm not stuck in 16, 32, 48. Like, that ain't me. Like, I ain't got to do that, right? The 40 fucking 9, and I ain't got to do that shit. So what I do is I'll just do it in a non-linear fashion. Sometimes I'll write the end of the rap, and then I will come back to it. And yeah, 48, man. The fuck am I thinking? I knew that shit was right the first time. So I'll just do this shit spontaneously, man. Like, for me, it used to have to be this shit where I really took all this time to really think about it and to all put it together. But I started to really enjoy doing acapellas, and I really started to enjoy doing freestyles, because the more I got comfortable doing freestyles, I just realized it didn't really matter what the fuck I said. It didn't even have to be creative, and it didn't even have to be imaginative, and it didn't even have to actually be intelligent. Because you see, man, the key, I told you I was going to teach y'all how to rap. The key